Look at this. 80 hours of work, 2 weeks, full-time, take-home pay $0. This is legal. This is a restaurant server's paycheck in America. And this is by design. Here's what you think is happening. You're adding a tip, a bonus, a thank you for good service. 25%. Generous. But here's what's actually happening. You're not tipping. You're covering payroll. And when I look at this, I see a cost-shifting mechanism. Perfectly engineered, legally protected, socially enforced. A system where the business that profits from the labor doesn't pay for the labor. You do. Today, we diagnose the 25% trap. But it's not about the percentage. It's about who's paying wages. And when it became your job instead of theirs. Let me show you the blueprint. To understand how we got to a $0 paycheck, we need to go back. Way back. In 1938, America passed the Fair Labor Standards Act, the first federal minimum wage, 25 cents per hour. For everyone, including restaurant workers. Tips existed back then. But they were extra, optional, a reward for exceptional service. The restaurant paid the wage, the customer paid for the food, tips were a bonus. The system was clean. For the next 25 years, minimum wage rose steadily, restaurants paid it, workers earned it, tips were extra. Then came 1966. Congress passed an amendment. They created something called the tip credit. Here's what it said. Employers may pay tipped employees less than minimum wage if tips bring their total earnings up to minimum wage level. Notice what just happened. The law created two classes of workers. For tipped workers, the employer could pay half the minimum wage. The other half? That's on the customer now. The tip credit, a way for restaurants to use your tips to pay their half of the minimum wage. For the next 25 years, both wages rose together, not equally, but proportionally. Tipped minimum stayed at 50% of regular minimum. By 1991, regular minimum was $4.25. Tipped minimum was $2.13. Still 50%. The deal held. Then something broke. From 1991 to 2024, 33 years. The regular minimum wage rose from $4.25 to $7.25, a 70% increase. The tipped minimum wage? Zero change. $2.13. For 33 years. In those 33 years, rent tripled. Gas tripled. Food costs rose 60%. The wage that's supposed to help cover these costs? Same number it was when gas was $1.14. Today in 16 states you can still legally pay a server $2.13 per hour. In 12 more states it's under $5. Only 7 states eliminated the tip credit entirely. So here's what happened. Your server earned $485 that week. But the restaurant only paid $85 of it. You paid $400. The restaurant contributed 18% of their workers' income. You contributed 82%. This is what the tip credit does. It shifts labor cost from the business to you. In 1966, this was supposed to be a subsidy. Restaurant pays half, customer tips half. In 2024, it's wage replacement. Restaurant pays pennies, customer covers everything. The wage freeze was just the beginning. Okay, so restaurants pay $2.13. You cover the rest through tips. That's the system. But here's where it gets engineered. Because the wage is frozen, someone else decided to raise the tip. In 2010, when mobile payment systems launched, the default tip options were 15, 18, 20%. These weren't random numbers. 15% had been the standard since the 1980s. 18 for good service, 20 for excellent. By 2024, those same systems suggest 22, 25, 30%. Nobody announced this. No law changed. No vote happened. The default just crept up. Let's do the math. That's a 39% increase in the tip amount itself. On top of food prices that also went up. You're paying inflation twice. Once on the food, again on the percentage. Here's why this happened. The companies that make these payment systems, Square, Toast, Clover, Stripe, they take a percentage of every transaction, including the tip. When you process billions in tips per year, you have a financial incentive to make those tips bigger. So they did. And they did it silently. By changing the default. Now let's talk about the interface itself. This screen is a masterclass in manipulation. The high tip options are huge, bright, one tap. The custom option requires finding the small button, doing math in your head, tapping twice, while someone watches you decide if they're worth it. No tip? Good luck. Some systems hide it behind a scroll. Some call it skip, making you the person who skipped generosity. Some require 2 taps with a confirmation screen asking, "Are you sure?" This is called choice architecture. It's a term from behavioral economics. When you put healthier food at eye level in a cafeteria, people eat 20% healthier. Not because you forced them. Because you made the desired choice easier. The tip screen does exactly this. It makes the high tip effortless, the low tip awkward, and no tip shameful. Payment companies have run these tests. They know which designs extract more money. And they all chose the design that extracts more. But the real system failure isn't just higher percentages. It's where tipping spread. It metastasized. You're at self-checkout. You found the barcodes when they wouldn't scan. You bagged your own groceries. You're doing the job yourself. The machine asks for a tip. For who? In 1960, a tip meant someone served you, took your order, brought your food, checked on you, cleared your table. In 2024, you might tip someone who handed you a bag. And here's the kicker. In many of these new tipping situations, the worker doesn't even get the full tip. In 37 states, businesses can call something a tip and keep it. Legally. So let's review the system design. Restaurants pay poverty wages. They save thousands per worker per year. Payment processors take a cut of tips. They raise defaults to increase their cut. New industries adopted tipping, not to pay workers, to boost their own revenue. The worker? Still making $2.13 per hour before tips. This is the glitch. The system works perfectly. It's just not designed for the worker's benefit. Or yours. Let's go to the root. Because the question isn't, why did tips get higher? Or why did $2.13 freeze? The question is, why did the law allow this? Surface answer, workers need more money to survive. True. But that's not the root cause. That's a symptom. Why do workers need higher tips? Because their base wages didn't keep up with cost of living. From 1991 to 2024, corporate profits rose 420%. CEO pay rose 940%. Worker productivity rose 64%. Worker pay stayed flat. And for tipped workers, it went backward. $2.13 in 1991 bought you this much. $2.13 in 2024 buys you $2.13. It lost more than half its value. But why didn't Congress adjust it? Why is the law still frozen? Because someone lobbies to keep it that way. The National Restaurant Association, trade group representing 600,000 restaurants. They've spent $52 million lobbying Congress since 2010. Their message, raising the tipped minimum, would destroy the industry. But here's the thing. Most developed countries don't have a tipped minimum at all. France pays servers $12.50 per hour before tips. Germany pays $13.30. Australia pays $15.50. Japan pays $10. And tipping is considered offensive. Did their restaurants collapse? No. They grew at the same rate as American restaurants. Even within the U.S., 7 states eliminated the tip credit. In these states, servers earn the full minimum wage before any tips. Tips are actual bonuses on top of a living wage. Did restaurants close? No. Employment grew faster than the national average. So what's the real reason? Why does the law stay frozen? $24 billion. That's how much the restaurant industry saves every year by paying $2.13 instead of $7.25. That's the root cause. The design looks like this. Congress keeps the wage frozen because the restaurant lobby is effective. Restaurants pay poverty wages. They save billions. Payment companies raise the suggested tip. They profit from the increase. You absorb all of it. The wage. The tip increase, the processing fee. The worker gets whatever's left, after everyone else takes their cut. This is why the paycheck is zero. It's not a glitch. It's the core feature. The American tipping system isn't broken. It's optimized for profit extraction at every level, from everyone, except the business that benefits from the labor. You're not tipping anymore. You're paying wages. You're the employer now. You just don't get to hire, or fire, or set the shifts, or provide benefits. You just pay. You're not cheap. You're not stingy. The system is extractive. It's designed to shift labor costs from the business to you, while making you feel guilty for questioning it. That's the blueprint. So what do? We become glitches in the system. First, use the custom button. Every time. Calculate what's fair based on actual service, not what the screen suggests. For counter service where you pick up your own order, 10% is generous. For table service where someone actually serves you, 15 to 20%. The screen wants 25 to 30. The screen works for the payment company, not for you, not even for the worker. Second, tip in cash. The payment processor gets 0% of cash. The government sees 0% of cash. The worker gets 100% of cash. If you actually want to help your server, that's how. Third, know your state. 7 states don't use the tip credit: California, Washington, Oregon, Nevada, Montana, Minnesota, Alaska. In these states, servers earn minimum wage before tips. Your tip is an actual bonus there. Everywhere else, you're covering their base wage. Fourth, support businesses that pay actual wages. Some restaurants are eliminating tipping entirely. They pay $15 to $20 per hour. They add a service charge to the bill instead. Find them, support them. That's how we fix the system. Not by tipping more. By demanding businesses pay wages. I'm a system architect. My job is to find the errors, not always to fix them. The American tipping system isn't an error. It's a feature, perfectly designed to extract maximum labor value while minimizing business cost. Now that you can see who's really paying wages, the question is yours. Will you keep being payroll? Or will you tip like it's optional again? I am the society architect. End of report.